Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgimon and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Chainsaw Man chapter 116. So, what did I think about this week's chapter? I'm just gonna say it right off the bat. I think this chapter is the single best chapter of the entirety of part 2. I absolutely adore this chapter. I thought this chapter was just incredible. Now, before we get into this week's chapter, I just wanted to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all Chainsaw Man anime and manga content going forward. It really helps me out, so I really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. But with that being said, let's get into this week's chapter. Now, this week's chapter picks up where we left off last time, which was pretty much Denji tells Asa, like, hey, have you ever tried a starfish? And they're still trapped in the aquarium and why not. And Asa doesn't want to eat it. She's starving, but she doesn't want to eat any fish. So Denji's like, hey, have you ever tried any starfish? So we pick up from that, and we see that we actually see the Kobeni 99-cent version, the dude, the one that we got introduced a couple chapters ago, the one that everybody says that's Kobeni's brother, why not? He's just kind of like creeping up on them. Like, this dude's just going insane. Just pretty much picture Kobeni in the Eternity Devil arc, where she was just completely freaking out, and that's pretty much this dude. And I'm just gonna call him Kobeni 2.0 because I don't know, and I can't even remember this dude's name. So, but yeah, that dude is just there minding his business, third wheeling in Asa and Denji, and pretty much Asa just tells Denji like, you can eat them, they're edible and why not, but you gotta boil them because otherwise, they're not. You can't really eat them like that unless you'll get sick and why not. And Denji's like, okay, I got a boiler, so he's pretty much he cooks it up, and she's like, all right, I guess I gotta try it or else, this sucks. So she bites it and she's obviously grossed out. She does not like it at all. And Fujimoto did an amazing job illustrating this scene. Fujimoto's always great at illustrating people's disgust or just funny, memeable faces, because that face of Asa was just hilarious. I enjoyed it. And pretty much Denji's like, oh, it kind of doesn't taste that good. It kind of tastes like, sea urchin and why not, but it's food, whatever. What are we gonna do? And pretty much Asa's just like, hey, is there any fish that, like, did you make any fish? And then he's like, yeah, I made some fish. And she pretty much eats it, and he's like, ew. Like, she starts just like, she hates it because, like, she doesn't like fish and why not. And what we see is that pretty much all these hats just randomly chilling there. And then she's like, Denji, why do you have all these hats? And Denji pretty much explains that the reason he has all these hats is because he found them, they're student hats, and he's gonna sell them. And she's like, you really are, what's this obsession with you, like, making money? And we see Denji pretty much explain to her, like, so you see, I have this little sister slash friend, and I'm trying to make sure that she has a good, life going forward. I want to make sure I can pay for her college, and college is not cheap and why not? And we obviously know that's not Utah. Now, we have all speculated that might have been the reason why Denji has been so fixated with making money, any little money he can get, we all were assuming it had to do with something with Nayuta, but just knowing the fact that he's doing all of this so she can have a college education, that just goes to show the levels that Denji has improved and, his character growth as a whole, because he's like her father figure. Like, he really, cares for Nayuta, and it's great, and I really appreciated that part of the chapter where we really get to see Denji opening up, because we haven't really seen too much of it, but this chapter really gave us a lot of insight, and I'm sure we're gonna get introduced to Nayuta and what she's up to, like, probably in a couple of chapters from now, because they hint at something like that happening, which we'll get to. Now, following that, pretty much Asa's like, wow, like, you really are a nice guy. Like, she's just like, wow, that's crazy. And she's like, I'm sorry if I'm boring, I know I suck. And she just tells him, like, I'm sorry, like, I think I suck and why not. And Denji's like, you're not boring, if anything, I just find you interesting. And she's like, oh, she starts blushing, like what? Like, obviously she starts like, what? Like, somebody thinks I'm cool? And then she's like, yeah, I'm fun, right? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, she's all flexing, like, she's like, oh, I'm fun, right? And it gets over her head, like, she gets, over her head. She just starts thinking she's like, she just starts thinking she's like the best thing ever. And then she's like, yeah, that's right, you have a good eye, you really picked out, like, yeah, I'm cool, and tell me I'm the best. Aren't I cute? Aren't I great? And then Denji's like, yeah, whatever. And there's another thing that Denji says that really hit me in the feels, which was, yeah, you know, you really remind me of a friend I used to have. And you know, that's, I know we all, you know, I'm pretty sure we all felt something when he said that line, because he was obviously, you know, he was obviously talking about power. And you know, just seeing that, it was like, yeah, Denji's been through a lot, and you know, that's why he's trying to make sure Naruto doesn't have to deal with any of that. When you stop and look at everything that Denji went through in part 1, and even before part 1, in his backstory and whatnot, you really see where he's coming from and why he wants to make sure Naruto, you know, has a nice life, and why he's really trying his best, like, to be there for her. And it's amazing. I think that's a phenomenal way for a character to grow. Like, literally, Denji is stepping up and becoming a man, and I think that's amazing. And not just that, but the skills that he has talking to women as a whole. And this goes to show with the way that Asa and him are interacting. It's, you know, it's wholesome, it's really great, and I love their chemistry together, and I think they're phenomenal. And I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere along the line they end up dating at one point, because what happens after pretty much they have their little talk and whatnot, she's like, Denji, follow me, let's get all this money from the, like, let's get all the money from all the wallets and everything that people left behind. And Denji's like, sure, why not? So they're running around, and you see they're just having a blast. Like, they're so wholesome together, and I think they're cute, and I ship them. I'm sorry, but I ship them. They're just too cute, and I wouldn't be surprised if Fujimoto makes them date, and then he breaks our heart because they break up or something. Who knows? But pretty much what happens is Denji, he collects all the money, and then she's like, okay, that should be over 1 million yen. And then Denji's like, yeah. And she's like, okay, Denji, like, hear me out. Give me all the money. And Denji's like, yeah, I'm not doing that, bro. What the heck? Like, Denji just went on a whole rant saying, like, bro, I'm trying to, you know, make sure my girl Ayuta is, you know, she gets a proper education, and I'm trying to get all the money I can. And she's like, I'll tell you what, give me all the money, and I'll grant you any request that you wish. Any request. Does that sound familiar? Does anybody having flashbacks of Magma? And pretty much Denji's like, yeah, of course, here, take it all. And Denji once again went back to the simp tendencies. My man went back to the simping, but hey, she did say she'll grant him any request. And if speculation time, if I had to guess what that request that Denji will ask is, I'm sure that he's gonna request for her to be his girlfriend. I don't think he'll be like requesting to be her dog. If that happens, oh my goodness, Denji stocks are going down. Like, that will be a character assassination. Like, no. So I'm pretty sure that he's gonna say something along the lines like, become my girlfriend, or something like along the lines as a request. But pretty much what happens after that, she's like, okay, Denji, just go over there, close your eyes, I'm gonna do something. And what we see after that is pretty much she grabs the money and she puts it in the floor, and she tells herself, okay, I just bought the aquarium. This is my aquarium. I purchased it with 1 million yen. This should be enough to buy this whole aquarium, right? And she starts thinking to herself, like, pretty much everything that regards her making like anything to a weapon, because anything that she owns, she can turn into a weapon. So her idea and her mental state is pretty much saying, okay, I bought this aquarium, so this aquarium belongs to me. So therefore, I can turn this into a weapon. So she touches the aquarium, like a part of the aquarium, like the glass and whatnot, and she says, okay, aquarium spear. And that's how the chapter ends. So we're assuming that she's going to turn this whole aquarium out. And if I had to guess, pretty much, I think the Eternity Devil is going to feel some type of way. He either's going to be hurt, or he's going to like come out of hiding finally, because that's affecting him and his domain, or why not. So I think she's going to get him out, and then they're going to deal with it. And probably Denji will show up like he's actually Chainsaw Man. And I think that's going to be a funny interaction if that happens. Now, I think for sure we're going to get something with Yoshida, because he, you know, he has the Octopus Devil, he has a contract with him. So I'm sure that if she makes an aquarium spear, some properties of water everywhere, and that's going to help Yoshida and why not. But that's speculation. But yeah, this chapter was amazing. I loved it. I thought this chapter was very great. And I like I said, I think this is the best chapter of part 2 by a mile. And I'm loving all the development we're getting between Asa and Denji. I think Denji in this chapter really, his growth was like, I wasn't expecting this type of character growth just from a single chapter, but pretty much everything he said, like, man, like, Denji's a completely different person that he was in part 1. And I think that's phenomenal, because he went through a lot and he overcame it, and he's still, you know, becoming he's becoming a man. And I think that's amazing. I think that's great job in Fujimoto's part by making such good character writing in Denji and Asa as well, because they're both, you know, they're hinting at something between the two. But with that being said, what did you guys think about this week's chapter? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys thought it was all right? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.